So, let's just be real for a second. Early humans were desperate. You ever been so hungry you thought about eating something you knew was a bad idea? Now imagine that, but you're stuck in the Ice Age, your stomach's been growling for days, and all you see around you is dirt, bark, and maybe a dead lizard. That's not a buffet, that's a survival test. And let me tell you, early humans failed that test more often than you'd think. They didn't just eat to live, they experimented, they took chances, they gambled with their guts, and sometimes those gambles ended in horrific regret. From toxic plants to live insects to straight-up animal dung, our ancestors were out there playing culinary Russian roulette with evolution. So today, we're diving into the wildest, weirdest, and most stomach-turning things early humans tried to eat and probably wished they hadn't. Let's start with one of the most disturbing and weirdly common choices: rotting meat. That's right. Before humans had fire figured out, before salt and spices and food storage, sometimes the only meat available was the stuff vultures didn't even want. Now, this wasn't just a one-off. Archaeological evidence shows early humans scavenged half-eaten kills left behind by predators. Saber-toothed cat takes a bite, leaves the rest, and here comes our great-great-great, etc. grandpa chewing on a fly-covered rib like it's fine dining. But here's the catch. Once meat starts to rot, it becomes a chemical war zone. Bacteria like Clostridium botulinum or Salmonella move in, turning that delicious mammoth steak into a death trap. And we're not talking mild indigestion. We're talking violent vomiting, fever, hallucinations, even death. Sure, it had protein, but at what cost? Next up, plants. Sounds harmless, right? They're green, they grow, they photosynthesize. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, so much. You see, early humans didn't have a guidebook. There was no top 10 berries that won't kill you list. It was all trial and error, and a lot of error. Some of the earliest diets included things like hemlock, foxglove, and aconite. Sound familiar? Probably not. That's because all of them are deadly. Even a small amount of some of these plants can shut down your nervous system or stop your heart. And yet, there's evidence ancient people tried them, sometimes mixing them into teas or chewing them raw. Maybe they were looking for medicine. Maybe they thought they were food. Maybe they were just curious. Either way, the result was often the same: convulsions, paralysis, and yeah, the ultimate regret. The real kicker? Some plants pretended to be safe. Ever seen water hemlock? Looks just like parsley. Until it kills you. Mother Nature is petty like that.
Now, I know insects are eaten in many parts of the world today, and they can be nutritious. But early humans didn't have that level of knowledge. They weren't cracking open toasted crickets with chili lime seasoning. They were eating whatever crawled across their path, with no idea whether it was edible, venomous, or laid eggs inside your tongue. And oh, the horror stories. There's evidence that early humans tried everything from beetles to ants to centipedes. But here's the issue. Some insects secrete toxins. Others have shells lined with irritants that tear up your stomach lining. And some, like the blister beetle, release a chemical called cantharidin, a poison so potent it can cause internal bleeding and kidney failure. Imagine biting into that. No seasoning, no warning label, just crunch and chaos. It wasn't a snack, it was a dare from the universe. Now here's where things really start to feel like a fever dream. Humans eating dirt. Yeah, you heard that right. Dirt, clay, rocks even. Scientists call this behavior geophagy. And while it still happens in some parts of the world today, usually for medicinal or cultural reasons, early humans took it to another level. Some of it probably came from desperation. No food? Fine, I'll eat the ground. But in other cases, it might have been a misguided attempt at nutrition or detoxing. Certain clays can absorb toxins, but others are loaded with heavy metals, parasites, and bacteria. And of course, none of it is actually food. Dirt doesn't break down well in your system. Eating too much can cause bowel blockages, infection, or straight up starvation because your stomach's full, but there's no nutrients. It's like trying to survive on packing peanuts. But hey, at least it wasn't poisonous. Just useless. Alright, this is the part where things go from weird to straight up disturbing. Because yes, there's evidence that in moments of extreme starvation or delusion, some early humans resorted to eating feces. Animal dung. Human waste. Doesn't matter. It happened. Now, I don't care how hungry you are, that's not a meal. That's a cry for help from your digestive system. It probably started with observing animals. Some animals, like rabbits or elephants, will eat their own feces to redigest nutrients. But humans, we are not built for that. Human and animal feces are crawling with pathogens. We're talking E. coli, Shigella, tapeworms, and more. One bite of that stuff could lead to weeks of dysentery, dehydration, and death. So yeah, major regret. But when you're on the brink of starvation, logic kinda takes a back seat. Evolution is messy like that.
Let's talk seafood, which, on the surface, seems like a decent idea, right? Fish, shellfish, crustaceans, tons of modern cultures thrive on diets full of ocean goodies. But early humans? They didn't have sushi chefs, no ice boxes, no concept of which sea creatures were edible and which ones were just biological traps waiting to explode in your colon. Case in point, pufferfish. These guys look like a goofy water balloon with fins, but inside, one of the deadliest toxins on Earth, tetrodotoxin. Just a few milligrams can kill you. There's evidence that some ancient coastal communities tried eating them before they understood how to remove the toxin. Big mistake. Instant regret. 0 second chances. And then there were shellfish. Clams, mussels, oysters. They seem safe, right? Until you realize they can bioaccumulate toxins from harmful algae, like those during red tides. You eat them raw? You're basically slurping up neurotoxins straight from the sea. Paralysis, hallucinations, death by clam. But hey, who could blame them? If it moved and it fit in your hand, it was worth a shot. Problem is, the ocean doesn't come with a warning label. If there's one thing early humans consistently messed up, it's mushrooms. Mushrooms are like the slot machines of the forest. Maybe you get lucky and eat a delicious chanterelle, or maybe you just swallowed a handful of Amanita phalloides, better known as the death cap. And here's the thing, a lot of poisonous mushrooms look almost exactly like edible ones. Even today, expert foragers can get it wrong. Imagine doing that with zero training, no books, and no idea why your buddy who ate one yesterday hasn't moved in hours. One bite. That's all it takes. Liver failure, seizures, organ collapse. Some of the world's most toxic mushrooms don't even cause symptoms for the first 12 hours, so early humans may not have realized they messed up until it was far too late. It was the ultimate betrayal. Food that looked friendly until it slowly murdered you from the inside out. The truth is, humans weren't the fastest, strongest, or most dangerous species on Earth. But what we lacked in brute strength, we made up for in pure audacity. When other animals saw something weird or unknown, they ran. Humans? We tasted it. It's almost like we evolved by accident. Not because we were smart, but because we were dumb enough to keep trying. Eat this root? Whoops, paralysis. Try this bug? Oops, now your throat's swelling shut. Drink this swamp water? Hello, dysentery. And yet, we lived. We made it. We learned. Painfully, slowly, sometimes screaming in agony, but we learned. So the next time you hear someone brag about our ancestors being these mighty, rugged survivors, remember, they were also just really bad at knowing what food was. Let's not sugarcoat it. Some of the stuff early humans ate wasn't just risky, it was straight up idiotic. And yet, it worked. Not always, obviously, but enough times for us to still be here talking about it.
There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and our ancestors walked that line barefoot, blindfolded, and probably foaming at the mouth from some bad mushroom stew. But think about it. Somebody had to be the first to cook a crab. That thing looks like an armored spider. It's a horror movie on legs. Who looked at it and thought, yep, I'm going to throw that into a fire and crack it open with a rock? That person was either a genius or starving. Same goes for cassava, a root that contains cyanide unless you process it correctly. That means the first person who figured out how to make it edible had to almost die before going, okay, so maybe if we soak it, dry it, grind it, and cook it for hours, it won't kill us. That's not cuisine, that's culinary survival mode. But hey, they figured it out, and because of them, we have fries. So who's laughing now? What's even funnier, today, people are scared of everything in their food. Gluten, carbs, red meat, GMOs, seed oils. Meanwhile, our ancestors were out there eating rotting hyena scraps and washing it down with swamp water. Modern humans panic over artificial sweeteners, but prehistoric humans were like, this berry made Grog's face melt off. I'm going to try it next. We avoid MSG and food dyes like they're radioactive, but we'll risk our lives on TikTok trying raw organ meat from a plastic tub someone bought in the parking lot. It's like we've gone full circle, back to eating dangerous stuff, but with worse excuses. At least early humans had the defense of not knowing better. We have Google, we have science, we have labels and warnings and nutrition facts, and yet we still mess it up. Maybe the real human tradition is just being bad at food decisions. Let's be honest, if evolution had a mascot, it wouldn't be a brain or a fire starter. It'd be a guy clutching his gut, groaning in agony, realizing the leaf he just ate wasn't what he thought it was. Because that's how we evolved. Not by flawless logic, not by perfect planning, but by eating the wrong thing, nearly dying, and then telling everyone else not to eat it. That's the unspoken superpower of humanity, passing down our dumbest mistakes like priceless wisdom. Every food tradition, every recipe, every rule about what's safe and not safe, it's all based on the regrets of someone who suffered first, who tried it, got sick, and either lived to warn others or didn't. Either way, the lesson stuck. So yeah, early humans ate some nasty, dangerous, and ridiculous stuff, and we're alive today because of it.
Let's face it, early humans were not gourmet chefs. They were desperate, starving, and constantly gambling with what they put in their mouths. No fire, no fridge, no idea what's edible. Welcome to Dinner in the Ice Age. First up, rotting meat. Before they knew how to cook or store food, early humans scavenged leftovers from predator kills, fly-covered, half-eaten carcasses full of bacteria like salmonella and botulinum. That mammoth rib might have had protein, sure, but it also came with a free side of vomiting, fever, and sometimes death. Then there were plants, which seem innocent until you chew the wrong leaf. With no way to tell good from bad, they sampled everything. Hemlock, foxglove, even aconite. Just a few bites could paralyze you or stop your heart. And to make things worse, deadly plants like water hemlock looked like harmless herbs. And yes, they ate bugs, but not the nutritious seasoned kind we snack on today. Early humans munched on beetles, ants, even centipedes, unaware that some insects were full of toxins or hard shells that shredded their insides. Ever hear of the blister beetle? One bite and you're bleeding from the inside. Ouch. Clay, dirt, and stones were next. This wasn't some high-end mineral cleanse. It was desperation. Eating dirt, known as geophagia, filled their bellies but brought parasites, heavy metals, and intestinal blockages. Think of it like eating gravel to stop hunger. It didn't nourish, it just clogged the system. Things got worse. In rare and extreme cases, humans even ate feces. Animal or human, likely copying animals that redigest nutrients. But humans aren't built for that. Feces is packed with pathogens like E. coli and tapeworms. One bite could mean weeks of dysentery and death. Seafood wasn't safer. Pufferfish contain tetrodotoxin. Just a few milligrams can kill. Ancient humans didn't know this and sometimes paid with their lives. Shellfish during red tides, full of neurotoxins. And don't forget fermentation. Early humans botched it, sometimes brewing drinks with methanol that made them blind, or worse. And mushrooms, the ultimate gamble. Some were tasty, others caused liver failure, seizures, and organ collapse. They all looked the same, and early foragers didn't have second chances. But here's the twist. All these painful, deadly mistakes taught us something. Our modern food rules, what we cook, what we avoid, what we instinctively gag at, all come from these ancient missteps. Some cultures even developed food taboos to keep their people safe, passed down from ancestors who nearly died from curiosity. And the funniest part? We're still doing it. Raw meat diets, clay detoxes, mystery mushrooms in the forest. We've just wrapped ancient mistakes in trendier packaging. In the end, humans didn't survive because we were smart. We survived because we were stubborn. We learned the hard way. We suffered so future generations wouldn't have to. Every meal we eat today without fear is thanks to some prehistoric human who ate something dumb and didn't live to warn the others. So, next time your food's a little bland, remember, at least it's not dirt, poison, or dung.